explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Are you looking for a better alternative to the over-the-counter drugstore medications? Tamarack Garden began from a parent's desperate need for safe and effective options for their kids, tired of toxic chemicals. Taking matters into their own hands, they began crafting medicine from weeds, wildflowers, and herbs, the original time-tested healers that modern medicine can't match. Packed with antiviral herbs to boost immunity and fight illness, Tamarack Garden has, for a limited time, their elderberry and rose hip syrup kit available. Not only is it delicious, no more battles with kids, and easy to make, it'll keep you and your family healthy all fall and winter. And introducing Tamarack Garden's new baby line, clean, non-toxic, and gentle for newborns and moms, relieving cradle cap, diaper rash, stretch marks, and postpartum pain. Visit TamarackGarden.com today and use promo code Badlands for $10 off orders over $50. Remember to eat your weeds. TamarackGarden.com, promo code Badlands. Nate, my man, what's up?
Hey, man. Another day, stoked for the weekend, and it has been kind of a wild week for MAHA. I gotta say, dude, there was quite a few things that have happened.
Dude, awesome week. Speaking of Tamarack Garden's elderberry and rose hips syrup kit, I actually used it this morning. My kiddo stayed home sick from school, and I didn't make the whole pot that the kit suggests. Mm-hmm. But I just put a few elderberries in a little tea strainer and made some tea for him, and it's feeling great. I threw some of my Conscious Strength vitamin C in there too, and made him a big cold killer blast tea, and it was good.
You better be careful, man. He's gonna have so much energy here in a little bit. You're not gonna be able to control it.
All right, man. So yeah, big week for MAHA. RFK Jr. being on Theo Vaughn's podcast, and they talked about a lot of amazing things that we'll cover here in this show. We'll talk a lot about glyphosate as well. That has been not only a topic of conversation in Kennedy and Theo Vaughn's podcast, but there's a lot coming out of Florida. They're fighting glyphosate pretty heavily down there. And then just a lot of talk in general of that pesticide. And we'll also cover a few other things, including news on Hims. If any of you out there have ever heard of that company, I've seen ads for it all over the place, TV, internet, but Hims sells weight loss products, and one of the products they sell has a compounding version of Ozempic in it. It's the weight loss peptide, and they're getting sued by Novo Nordisk for selling that, and they're getting investigated now by the DOJ for possibly patent infringement. So there's a huge controversy about it. So we'll touch on that. Hims, peptides, Ozempic, pharma, all that later on. And we got some other articles and topics thrown in there as well. So Nate Dogg, how you doing this week, man?
Good. So it was honestly okay. So if you guys were wondering why we didn't show up on Wednesday, that was my bad. I got debanked out of nowhere. The bank just hit me up and they're like, we can't serve you anymore because we think you're a marijuana related business. So I was in mad scramble mode to find a new bank or get it resolved with them. Luckily, have things kind of patched over, but definitely still looking for a sounder solution.
Green plant bad,
unfortunately. Yeah, I've been with them for 5 years, dude. I told them I was a hemp company. It's just one person in the company structure saw a supplier that I purchased from, and she didn't understand what she was looking at. And so they just hit that big red button that said eject flow blend.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Miserable, dude.
Yep.
Good luck on that.
So, yeah. I see the benefit of Bitcoin. I don't want to say cryptocurrency, but I mean, just those financial rails, I think will be amazing when the day comes.
Spets asks, was it a local bank or a national bank?
Yeah, it was a local bank.
Yeah. Man, it's been a rough week for me too. I was playing soccer last weekend, and I took a heavy elbow to the rib cage. and something is broken in there. I don't know if it's bone or cartilage or tendon or muscle or what, but I've had to miss a few streams and videos this week myself. So
No kidding, dude.
yeah, dude,
Oh,
something's messed up in there. Like it's been tough to breathe deep, and at first I got the wind knocked out of me bad. I was worried about lung issues, but I was able to, regain my breath, and just moving's been tough. I couldn't sleep on my back the first couple of nights, or I couldn't sleep on my side the first couple of nights. I had to sleep on my back, and it's been just tough to move.
dude, broken or cracked ribs are one of the most painful things, and you can't. There's no hiding
Nothing you
from
can
it.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't have health insurance, but even if I did, what could they do? They can't cast it up or anything. So,
Yeah.
not really a point. I would much rather break an arm, because at least you can immobilize the arm and use the other arm. But
Yeah.
not with ribs, dude.
Your arm doesn't have to expand and contract like I don't know how many times a day.
You don't have to breathe with your arm. Right?
Yeah.
So this is going to take me a couple of weeks to probably get back to normal, and I can't run, I can't exercise or work out or anything. Even getting up from the chair, I feel like an old elderly man trying to. Rough. But other than that,
Okay.
man, yeah, I'll tell you what though. I became a solid believer in DMSO. I've never actually used DMSO for an injury, but I've been using it every single day, and I am a firm believer in this stuff now, man. Pretty fascinating stuff. So I just right as I get out of the shower, I rub it on, and for a couple of hours, the pain relief is considerably noticeable. It doesn't get rid of it completely, but for a couple of hours, mobility is improved, pain somewhat goes away, and yeah, I'm sold on DMSO now.
Dude, that's interesting. I know that when my shoulder was really messed up, it was like a year I was going through recovery, and DMSO was one of the only things that I could find, short of not taking ibuprofen, that would it helped a ton. So yeah, I'm a believer as well when it comes to sports injuries like that.
Yeah. If you guys want to go check out, I've been uploading some videos to my Conscious Strength Vids channel over on YouTube. I'll drop a link to this in the chat, but I kind of covered the stack I was doing, the supplement stack for healing from joint injuries: DMSO, collagen, curcumin, and I'm a big fan of another herb called comfrey. I don't sell comfrey, but
isn't that help with bone healing as well?
Yep, bone healing and soft tissue healing too. So comfrey is another one that I also swear by.
And that's pretty regulated by the FDA, isn't it?
No,
selling comfrey?
I get that question a lot. I don't know why.
Okay, I wanted to put it that. Because at one point I was looking at putting that into a pouch. I thought because that also has been shown to help with cavities, rebuilding the dentin, layers on teeth. And so I was like, man, that would be great, because a lot, that could help people with cavities. And I ran into what seemed to be quite a bit of red tape for putting comfrey in any sort of a supplement.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, no, I just picked up a salve on Amazon. I've always used it topically.
Mm-hmm.
I've never used comfrey internally, but it's everywhere as far as I know of. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that was the key differentiator is topically is fine.
Internal usage versus topical.
Correct. Yeah.
Chat says too many alkaloids. So maybe that is the deal with it. If you use it topically, it's fine. But yeah, I just found a salve, and comfrey is called the bone knitter. Yes, I learned that many years ago, that you can have like pretty serious bone breaks, and the alkaloids in comfrey, I think they're called, I forget what they're called, but they really help to heal bone, but it also works soft tissue too. So granted, I don't know exactly what's going on with my rib cage. Could be bone or cartilage, but I've been rubbing it on all the time.
Yeah, I saw somebody in chat I'm sorry, I don't remember who it was, but they said go to a chiropractor. You'd probably get an X-ray from them. Be a
Yeah, but
lot
that
cheaper
also
than-
costs money. And then what are they going to do? Right? So not like they're going to be able to
you got
adjust me or
yourself
anything.
good. That's what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For future reference, it's pronounced salve. Well, then why is there an L in it?
Solve. Solve. I'm going to
Right?
put some solve on my injury.
Solve, exactly. Cool. All right, guys, let's get into our topics of the week. Let me see.
Hey,
Did
chat. Don't make Jordan laugh today. It's just painful.
Dude, honestly, yeah, it has been a struggle to laugh this week. Coughing, sneezing, hurts like a bee, and laughing spin. Hold on, I accidentally unshared the screen. There we go.
Yeah.
So this post has been going viral on the Twitter, on the X, and just wanted to do a little bit of clickbait debunking really quick because this post is wrong. Has 200,000 likes and 16 million impressions. By the way, on Twitter, it varies pretty widely, but for every 1 million impressions, you get approximately $100 for it. 100 to 150. So that means this person made anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 off this single post. Granted, I don't know if getting your post community noted takes away the monetization from it. I don't know. But just so you guys know or have an idea as to the financial nature of clickbait and why it can be lucrative for some people.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason. So anyway, breaking 6 cancer cure claims suddenly went viral after the U.S. left the World Health Organization. February 1st, pancreatic cancer out of Spain, I think. February 3rd, colon cancer out of South Korea. February 3rd, colorectal lung metastases out of China. February 6th, HPV out of Mexico. February 7th, blood cancer out of, maybe that one's Vietnam. I forget my flags. February 4th, Russia cancer vaccine. There's our community note down there. So pretty much most all of these stories are old. At least 1, 2 to 3 years old on all of these.
Yeah.
And then the studies are linked. These weren't cancer cure claims at all. They were all studies, most of them about phase 1 trials that had a little bit of success. So to call it a cancer cure claim is completely fabricated. And then also a couple of these had to do with mRNA gene editing technology. Like Russia's cancer vaccine is mRNA based. And then this blood cancer leukemia cure claim out of, I think that one is Vietnam. That was also a gene editing therapy called CAR-T, C-A-R-T. And CAR-T therapy, I don't know. When I was reading into it, sounds kind of weird. They basically take your T cells out of your body and then gene edit them with viral proteins, I believe they take from HIV. And then they edit those together and mash them and genetically engineer them and then put the T cells back into your body. Yeah, I don't know how much of a fan I am of it, but anyway.
Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. I think some good old fashioned juicing and colonics is probably a better choice. You know, that's pretty wild though. I mean, that's how easy. Like, I wonder what it was inside of X's algorithm that got this post to go so viral. A lot of likes. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I think this person just does that all the time. So anyway, wanted to make that known real quick. Let's get into RFK Jr. on Theo Vaughn. They're dropping some jokes with each other. RFK. Did you watch this podcast, Nate?
No, I didn't. I want to though. I need to.
Theo Vaughn's always pretty funny, and You know, RFK Jr.'s got that dry humor, but he could take a joke. And he could put out a joke. But in this one, he said he wasn't scared of COVID at all for a very particular reason that I'll let you guys listen to.
You know what, I said this when we came in, and I said, I don't care what happens, I'm going to a meeting every day.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not scared of a germ. You know, I used to snort cocaine off of toilet seats. And I know this disease will kill me.
Right.
Like if I don't treat it, which means
Theo Vaughn's sitting there like, right, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, dude. Like, I would have busted up so hard if I was sitting there with him and RFK said that. Theo Vaughn's just like, yeah.
It's like, I used to snort some cocaine off toilet seats. Hey, that's better than Hunter getting the Parmesan cheese out of the carpet, though. But a lot of people are clowning on RFK Jr. for this. It's an awesome moment because RFK is being totally open and honest.
Yep.
About what he was doing 40 years ago, and he's been clean and sober ever since. No shame, right?
Yeah.
No shame.
You know what? I mean, it sounds like he's lived, and the fact that he's open, I respect that about him. I think that's awesome. Makes me trust him even more. I mean, if he's open about his past, he's probably open about current stuff too. So
hell of a way to decalcify your pineal gland, though. Some toilet seat coke. So, all right.
That's hilarious, though.
More serious stuff. Theo brought up fluoride, and they discuss how fluoride destroys our brain.
What did you say about fluoride?
Tennessee has a law that has to, where the water district has to inform the public about it. Fluoride is crazy because we know it reduces IQ. There's no question. The National Toxicology Program has done a meta-analysis, and they can, you know, it's dose related. So every milligram of fluoride that you add reduce your IQ more.
God.
And and it doesn't work systemically. You know, it was put in the 40s, and because it does help with tooth decay, but the effect is all topical. And back then they didn't have fluoride toothpaste, they didn't have fluoride mouthwash. Now we do. The parents can get the fluoride for their kids, and they don't. When you put it in systematically, it destroys your bone mass. It destroys your thyroid.
So it's horrible for us.
It's horrible, and it destroys IQ. So, I mean, if you have kids, would you rather them cavities or lower IQ?
Yeah, I'd rather have them have cavities. I'd rather have holes in their teeth than holes in their ideas or whatever.
Right, but the European.
Oh man. I can't laugh. I'd rather have them have holes in their teeth than holes in their ideas or whatever.
That classic.
That was so nonchalant, but what a quote there.
It really was.
Holes in their ideas. Theo Vaughn, the closeted philosopher, the sage of our time, truly. But yeah, good point.
Yeah.
And then people on X noted that RFK is correct. For every 1 milligram per liter increase in fluoride in your urine, your IQ score decreases by about 1.5 points.
Dude.
86% of studies that looked found fluoride lowers IQ. So there you go.
Man.
And at the end of the day, maybe we should just stop eating all this garbage sugar trash, and maybe eat some minerals in our diet. I don't know.
Yeah, there was, oh man, I wish I could remember the guy's name. There was a doctor, I think it was from like the 20s, and he visited quite a few places that were very rural. Maybe it was the 1800s. Anyway, there was, what he found ultimately was like the people that were isolated from society who weren't participating in a lot of grains, white breads, canned foods, who were eating whole fish, including the heads. Not only were their teeth near perfect, but their jaw structure as well. And so he linked it back to, I believe it was like vitamin A. And so his solution was like lots of cod liver oil, was a really good place to be as far as for preserving healthy teeth.
Nice.
I only did that because my teeth were screwed up really bad, so I dove pretty deep for a while.
Yeah, and then Brett Hour in the chat says hydroxyapatite remineralizes teeth like fluoride, but without making you retarded. That is in Van Man's tooth products. He's got hydroxyapatite in his products. You know, Van Man is a Badlands sponsor. And then I'm also a big fan. I've used Uncle Harry's before. They have a remineralizing liquid. This stuff is pretty darn awesome too. It's got alkalizing ionic minerals in it. So really great, some great products for your
Yeah, and don't wait until your tooth is screaming at you to start using it.
All right. Couple other clips from Theo Vaughn. RFK talking about some of the fraud that they found, waste, fraud, and abuse in the healthcare industry.
We found a hotel that had literally every room in it was the headquarters for a nursing group.
Where was that located?
It was in California.
God.
And, you know, so they're all just P.O. boxes. They're not actually doing any nursing care.
Nuh-uh.
They're just collecting money. And as we now know, a lot of the money that was, you know, was going into the Somali community for autism care. There were these phony autism care houses.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was ending up with Al-Shabaab in Somalia. So we found.
There you go.
Did you see, so Scott Bessent came out today, and apparently the Treasury is now offering 10 to 30% of the fine handed out to people who are committing fraud to whoever reports it. So it sounds like they're really going after this.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
But why did it take him so long to say this?
You know, that's a good question. We should probably ask him.
Nick Shirley could have got a payout.
He should have gotten
if he got 10% of the $100 million he uncovered.
Yeah.
I would have been out every day door knocking. Looking up government websites, and dude, I would have been sun up to sundown, man. After sundown, I'd be borrowing my buddies' NVGs out surveillance in the middle of the night. Gonna catch me some Somalis.
Yeah, that could turn into a full-time gig. Just turning in fraud.
Man, I'd be on my way to Washington State right now. There's so much out there.
Yeah.
And I know exactly where they're at too.
Time to go make that money, man.
But why did it take you so long, man? Anyway, thanks for letting me know, though. I did not see Bessent say that. I'm going to be looking up some government databases and doing my Nick Shirley, getting my Shirley on.
There we go.
A little more waste, fraud, and abuse. Trump administration terminates $1.5 billion in CDC grants for fraudulent HIV and STD programs. Experts warn that cutting this health funding would lead to an explosion of STDs and HIV in the U.S. Is that actually what they said? I'm going to play this.
The Presidential Advisory Council is issuing a dire new warning in the fight against HIV and AIDS. The Trump administration's proposed budget for 2026 eliminates more than $1.5 billion for HIV prevention. The first Trump administration launched the Ending the HIV Epidemic Initiative with the goal of reducing infections in the U.S. by at least 90% by 2030. Now the council warns the proposed budget cuts could reverse decades of progress. Executive Director of the AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Coalition, Mitchell Warren, is here for more.
AIDS Vaccine Advocacy Commission. He looks like he needs one.
AIDS or a vaccine? Just give me a little AIDS.
An AIDS vaccine. You know what else reduces the spread of STDs and HIV.
Oh man, where are you going with this?
Laughing. You know where I'm going with this. Keeping your pants on, you dirty hose. Don't go out to the clubs and bang the nasties.
I thought it was the monkey's fault.
Oh yeah, totally. Okay.
Chat just blew up.
Yeah. All right, glyphosate. This is probably the coolest clip from their podcast. Yes, I am aware, chat. I called glyphosate a pesticide earlier. I know it is an herbicide. If you classify the weeds as pests, though, technically it's a pesticide. Talking about burning away the weeds with laser beams, tractors with laser beams attached to their foreheads, and getting rid of glyphosate with that kind of technology. Pretty cool.
Diseases and sickness in people, right? Or about this glyphosate, I think it's called.
Yeah, glyphosate.
There's been a ton of lawsuits, but they still don't have to take this product off of the shelf. So that's the craziest thing to me. Is that right?
Well, it's a problem because you have all the row croppers are dependent on it right now, and there's other technology that is emerging right now. That actually, I looked at one yesterday. It's a tractor attachment that uses lasers to kill weeds. And that, if they can make that affordable, particularly for smaller farmers, that will be the answer, because you'll be able to, they can kill bugs and they can kill weeds. You program this thing and it zaps the weeds with a laser. It makes all the cells explode and it destroys them. And so that, there's a future.
Hey, we have one good use for directed energy weapons.
Dude, I couldn't help but think about Dr. Evil. He's got freaking laser beams on the tractors.
This farmer has laser beams. Could you imagine something like that for mosquitoes, though?
Oh, man, it looked like a light show.
Put like a little device on your back porch when you're out grilling or something, and it just zaps them with a laser.
I'd be worried that there'd be a mosquito on my ass cheek and just bzz,
Yeah, I guess.
That is, dude. I mean, but seriously though, the fact that he's discussing this, that is some wild technology. Freaking lasers for taking out weeds. Who would have guessed that 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think RFK says that they're like $1 million each, though. So very out of reach for most farmers. Although through scaling, through innovation, I'm sure they could drop the price.
I mean, there's all sorts of ways. I mean, farmers work to. I'm sure there's people in chat that know more about this than I do. But the ways, like I know for farming hemp, you'll have one piece of equipment specialized for hemp, and that thing will travel all around the state, for crops. And so I'm sure that there's ways that farmers could utilize a program like that for these devices.
Oh yeah, like a laser share program.
Yeah.
You get 10 farmers that all pitch in to buy one, and then they just rotate.
Yep.
So that's pretty rad, dude.
Rent laser.
And then if you get these laser beams out there, then they wouldn't need the pesticide. And then what does that mean? Well, they wouldn't need genetically engineered crops, because the whole selling point of GMO crops is that mostly you can spray pesticides on your crop and the weeds will die, and this corn doesn't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that would revolutionize our food, and it really seems like there is a lot of heat pointing towards glyphosate right now.
Yeah, I would wonder if I could get one of those lasers and like reprogram it and start going after the neighborhood.
Pedos?
The burglars. Yeah.
Yeah, the burglar. Okay.
The burglars. The Epstein clients.
I am gonna
Anyway.
watch this. I'm gonna watch this interview. It seems like a good one.
Yeah. Like you said, a lot of heat on glyphosate right now. Here's Robert Malone. Lots of posts going around that glyphosate is perfectly safe. Years of safety data. Well, here are 109 peer-reviewed papers on glyphosate. Please read and then come back and argue about how harmless it is. And then in Florida, there's a huge fight in Florida as well. Wasn't it Florida state government just did that study on bread?
Yep, they did.
How much glyphosate is in there? And now their officials are talking about it. Here is Florida Surgeon General Dr. Ladapo.
So sometimes you hear things like leaky gut, and there seems to be some relationship with glyphosate exposure and leaky gut. At least as worse as the gut is the brain. So there's good evidence that glyphosate, there's something called the blood-brain barrier, which some people are probably familiar with, and it's this idea that our brain is very protected real estate in our bodies. So whereas substances can move through our bloodstream and enter our different organs straight directly out of our bloodstream, our brain's very different. So our brain really protects what's allowed to pass through the blood into the brain. And thank goodness, right? I mean, we need to protect our brain. This is our central operating system. This is, so it's essential. And glyphosate actually affects and weakens the blood-brain barrier. So sometimes you hear things like leaky gut, and there seems to
Glyphosate.
Yeah, I think all that noise about celiac is just maybe it affects a small number of people, but I think it's just noise. I think the main issue people have been facing is glyphosate.
Rumor has it that Dave's Killer Bread, which is supposed to be organic, is one of the highest containing glyphosate. I didn't see that. Wasn't theirs pretty low?
I don't know if it was low. Let's see. We have, I don't know if you still have Milanote open, but I did drop the link for, I think it's exposing food toxins. Oh, yeah, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah, we looked at it last week, didn't we? And actually, I remember seeing Dave's Killer quite low on it. Wonder Bread was super high. Was it in last week's notes?
I don't think. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I deleted that. I will find it here and drop it in the chat.
Here, I've got I found it real quick. Nature's Own was incredibly high. Wonder Bread super high. Sara Lee. Yeah, actually, Dave's Killer. I mean, they found a little bit in Dave's Killer. 11, is that ppb?
Yeah, that's nothing compared to those other brands.
Yeah, the other ones are like 130 to 190. So compared to Wonder Bread, for instance, Dave's Killer has 4%. Wonder Bread has 15, 20 times more glyphosate tested in it than Dave's Killer. So Dave's Killer is actually pretty low. I mean, I'm sure it could be lower, but Dave's Killer ain't too bad, really. So,
yeah. Well, it just makes you wonder too. Chips and all the other stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Potato chips, corn chips. I mean, everything, right? It's not just bread. It's any monocrop that has pesticides on it. So you're talking potato, you're talking corn, soy, wheat, and especially the foods we eat where we eat the skins, the outsides of them, right? As it's often said, the most pesticide-laden fruits are strawberries, blueberries, the fruits that you eat the skin on.
Yeah.
So be mindful of that. Let's see. This post says, to piggyback off of yesterday's bombshell glyphosate hearing in Florida, here's my recent lab work showing how much glyphosate is in my body as someone who eats all organic. This is a neurotoxin that Americans cannot escape from in our soil and water. Yeah, but where do you live? Maybe it's not the food. Maybe it's...
Yeah.
See, you live in Phoenix, girl. There ain't much rain in Phoenix. It ain't getting washed off. And you probably live near a freaking golf course because there's tons of golf courses in Phoenix. So I imagine some of that pesticide in your body is coming from either a golf course or Phoenix is just all subdivisions. It's all development suburban areas. So there's a lot of pesticide, a lot of Roundup, glyphosate used in like developed suburban areas too by the groundskeepers that come in.
Yeah.
And then the companies that get contracted to come in and keep the HOA pretty, they use a lot of Roundup. So come on, girl.
I mean, I get what she's saying, though. I mean, like, she's trying to lead a healthy lifestyle, and she still has glyphosate showing up inside of her blood work. So,
yeah, you have a point there. But so your point about her point is legitimate. Although I think she needs to increase her awareness about her situational environment. It shows you how cities and suburbs are pretty toxic places.
Yep.
So she's basically air bathing in it out there. Yeah, I mean, in Phoenix it doesn't rain, so anything they spray doesn't get washed off. And then if you're living near golf courses or if you're living in big suburban HOA developments, there's a lot of poisons used. A lot of chemical fertilizers and pesticides used in those HOA developments.
Man, can you imagine if you had like a patent or design on some totally neutral weed killer that would work for golf courses right now? You'd be set up very well.
Dude, you could outfit a golf cart with one of those laser beams.
Freaking laser beams. That's going to be our answer for everything. Pedo, laser beam.
What I would do is I would get a little remote controlled RC car.
Oh, dude.
Put a laser beam on that and then just sit there.
With like goggles?
Or a drone. Or a drone. Oh, a POV drone.
Yes. Dude, like kids would pay you. You could charge kids like, hey, come blast weeds for an hour for $10. Kids would love it.
What would we call it? Where it's going to be a POV drone weed killing laser beam business. Got to come up with a name for it.
Yeah. I have no
Anybody
idea.
got $1 million they can help us get one of those laser beams with? And a drone?
Drones with freaking laser beams on their heads.
Oh my God. You'd,
laser tag.
You'd get so investigated by the FBI.
True.
All right. One more thing on glyphosate, I think here. Moms across America put this article out recently in how talking about how much of an issue glyphosate is, not just in America, but around the world. Because apparently in Europe, their cancer statistics are horrible. Europe only has, where was it here? Europe only has about 10% of the global population, but it accounts for roughly almost a quarter of all cancer cases and 20% of all cancer deaths.
Wow.
So Europe has a very disproportionate amount of cancer, which is interesting because isn't Europe pretty commie when it comes to like food additives and pesticides and stuff?
I mean, they seem to be in some ways. I don't know. Maybe a lot of it is show. I have no idea.
Could be show, yeah. Or who knows? Yeah, right.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, there could be so many factors that drive that.
Could be the mental stress of having to live in Europe under their governments.
Yeah, maybe they blocked, like 40 of the really bad ones, but they allow this one in that is just like the ultimate doomsday killer weapon.
Here's how cereal brands compare USA, UK, and EU. Basically, all the US versions, like Quaker oatmeal, the kinds that they make for the UK are like have 20 times more glyphosate.
Jeez.
How about Nestle Cheerios, United States, General Mills Cheerios? In the UK, it's like 30 times more glyphosate. UK's Nestle Cheerios as opposed to like France's Nestle Cheerios.
That's insanity.
Well, yeah, they're probably just outsourcing their food production. They're just sure the pesticides are banned in Europe, but they just import the food from Asia or the Americas or something.
I wonder how much of their grains they get from Ukraine. Just
Ukraine. Yeah,
well
so because Europe doesn't produce that much. I know Eastern Europe is more of a fertile growing region, but they just don't have enough land really in Europe for that much agricultural production. And some areas the climate isn't that friendly, so they're probably importing a lot of food. So Europe says, "Yeah, we're super healthy. We're banning the use of this stuff." Meanwhile, they just import food that's trash and loaded with the chemicals. So sounds like it.
Yeah.
Whew. All right, man. We're about halfway in. We got a quick break here from a couple of sponsors, and those sponsors are us, which include Badlands Shop. If you guys checked out the Badlands Shop lately, you might be surprised by what you've been missing. Find new everyday essentials perfect for the whole family, from clean lotions to natural remedies and so much more. Something for everybody, and it's more than just shopping. You're strengthening the Badlands community. Every purchase you make directly fuels Badlands and its values. You are empowering family businesses and fellow Badlanders and helping creators who share your values. Thank you for supporting the businesses that support Badlands. Head over now to badlandsmedia.tv/shop or click shop on the main menu at badlandsmedia.tv. That's badlandsmedia.tv/shop. And we got one more here from Badlands, friends.
Slightly. This lotion changes people.
My knuckles would actually start to crack. Started using the soft disclosure lotion, and I am very impressed. Even within just a few days, I've noticed a tremendous difference.
That's not a script. That's what happens when something actually works.
It puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again.
Yeah, that line keeps coming up because when you don't use it, your skin starts acting up.
Every single ingredient in soft disclosure is intentionally chosen. There's no filler ingredients. It is not like this BS product where they have a bunch of ingredients. Every ingredient listed is for a purpose.
Over 65-star reviews for the lotion alone. Not influencers, not actors, just people whose skin finally shut up. Soft disclosure lotion. Once you try it, you'll understand why people won't stop talking about it. Visit softdisclosure.com and use code Badlands and get 10% off.
We're coming. There we are. Here we are.
Cool.
Where's this comment? Did y'all even cover the glyphosate sprayed over Lebanon and Syria by Israel? Maybe worth a mention. We did not cover it because I didn't know about this.
I didn't know about it either.
But I'm just bringing it up real quick here. According to the news, Lebanon is accusing Israel of dropping highly concentrated glyphosate near the demarcation line between Lebanon and Israel. Huh. But it's safe, right? So this shouldn't be a problem. Well, it looks like they have video evidence of it and everything. So the claims may very well be justified. This is chemical warfare.
I don't know. I see planes flying like that here in the summer quite often.
Yeah, I mean, if true, this is a form of chemical warfare.
Yeah.
Wild, man. And chat says it was 20 to 30 times the regular concentration. Lovely. I mean, that's basically what Monsanto did with Agent Orange during Vietnam, right?
Yeah.
I wonder if 20 times concentrated Roundup would equal the Agent Orange. Crazy. Did Gordon cover this during his show last hour? Goes to Base Patrick Henry? I wonder. I'll have to ask him. All right, we're moving on, guys. We are now getting into... Let's see. Let's talk hymns. Hims and Hers Health. HHS General Counsel Mike Stewart says that based on a review of the applicable facts, earlier today, HHS OGC referred Hims and Hers Health to the DOJ for investigation for potential violations of the Federal Food and Drug Cosmetic Act. Comment says, is this bullish for Hims? Dang it. Yeah, so have you seen or heard those advertisements for Hims?
I honestly thought they were just Woody pills. I didn't know they moved on to other things.
Dude, honestly, I thought that at the first two. You're not the only one. I totally thought they were just boner pills. And or I thought it was like a Rogaine hair regrowth shampoo or something. But turns out they've got, I guess, a variety of supplements, and one of their main ones they push is a weight loss supplement. Oh God, I hear their advertisements all over the radio and on TV too. I guess one of their products is like test boosting boner pills, but they have weight loss drugs that they're coming out with now too. And Hims is getting sued over their GLP-1 product. So major telemedicine platform Hims and Hers is facing pressure from both the federal government and Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk makes Ozempic. And it looks like they have a patent for Ozempic. And the story goes that a few years ago, there was a shortage of semaglutide, which is the peptide in Ozempic. And during that shortage, Hims started selling compounded versions of semaglutide, essentially copycat versions at much cheaper prices. But then the shortage ended, and Hims kept selling their semaglutide, which now Novo Nordisk says violates, is patent infringement. Patent infringement. And I believe the FDA is looking at Hims and Hers for not properly labeling or something to that effect.
I haven't seen a whole lot about it, but it seems like there's something happening right now with the federal government moving to eliminate peptides.
Yeah, but so, yeah, you've got like our girl Panuna here, She claims there's a massive push by pharma right now to kill peptide use and specifically go after compounding pharmacies. I would disagree with this. Well, I would agree with half of it. Pharma loves peptides.
Right.
Novo Nordisk makes $30 billion a year off Ozempic. $30 billion. So
Yeah.
that part's wrong.
They're
But-
not going to kill that.
But it does look like pharma is going after compounding pharmacies because, of course, they want to kill competition. So big pharma loves peptides. They just want to control the peptides, and they don't want anybody else selling cheaper, easier to get versions.
Well, yeah, that part I'm not okay with. Like, I'm not jumping on the peptide bandwagon as of yet. But if I did want to, I would rather get it cheaper.
Yeah, for sure. And I just worry about the peptide craze. I don't really like it. I don't mind peptides. I don't like the craze. So I think there's a time and a place where peptides are definitely helpful. Certain peptides in certain situations, I'm all for it. I don't think they should be banned. I think people should be able to get them if they want them. But it's the craze around it. People getting all excited, and it's becoming like a magic pill for folks. When I think peptides should be a last resort, people are often looking to them to be their first resort, their magic pill, their, oh my God, I need these $300 injections to, lose weight, get jacked, get a hard on, whatever. And no, I think it's a problem.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you think about it, for a very long time, I mean, everybody was looking for the magic bullet for weight loss. And it seems like if you just isolate out weight loss, the peptides are pretty effective. I mean, yeah, there's a long list of side effects that go along with it. So I am not surprised by the craze. And I mean, if the craze is from, people actually seeing results, then you're going to have media just, and the companies blow that up. So,
yeah, some people are getting destroyed. I mean, some people have great success on peptides, don't get me wrong, but other people get destroyed taking them. So it's just a dangerous thing. But in this case, yeah.
More research.
For sure. All right. A couple more things. We're almost done here.
Hold on. I just had a thought.
What's your thought?
Peptides are legal and raw milk isn't. Wrap your brain around that one.
Yeah, right. Let's see. Are there any other stories about the government?
There's always stories about the government. Covered the fraud, the fluoride, the glyphosate.
I'm just looking at the media's reaction, and everything is pro-peptide, at least in the mainstream media. I'm a longevity doctor. 3 peptides that can help you live longer. Peptide lip treatment. Everything you want to know about peptide and skincare. Life on peptides feels amazing. Here's one. Here's a single one that is questioning peptides. People are turning themselves into lab rats. The injectable peptide craze sweeps the U.S. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of along the lines of that. People are turning themselves into pin cushions.
Oh, and what's crazy is these people are buying these injectables from websites that maybe look polished, but as far as like you're having to pay with cryptocurrency or other shady methods, where's it coming from?
Right here answers your questions.
Yeah.
How China supplies untested peptides to the West.
Yeah. So what are you really injecting?
Also, I was a couple of months back, I was perusing through the FDA's website of warning letters that they put out. And I was just looking at all the warning letters they put out over the course of like 2025. This is maybe back in September, October. And there was a few Chinese peptide companies on there, but there was also a couple companies out of Israel who got FDA warning letters for funneling in off the books peptides into the US as well. But there's a variety of countries doing this. China, for sure. So yeah, where you getting them? And they gotta protect the pharmacological bottom line. Indeed.
Yeah. If you're going to dabble with any of that stuff, you definitely want to make sure that they have clear labs. You can follow the chains, see where it was made. Worth playing around with.
Got some type of peptide from Amazon, and those made you and your husband sick. It probably wasn't peptide, because you're not going to be able to buy injectables off Amazon. They don't. From my understanding, Amazon.
They do have oral.
Yeah, maybe oral, but to my knowledge, you wouldn't be able to find, and Amazon doesn't sell anything injectable. Amazon is quite strict with what supplements you can sell on there. Well, yes and no. They kind of aren't. There's a lot of cheap Chinese crap on Amazon, and there's a lot of like false marketing and stuff, but you have to give them like a certificate of analysis. You at least have to have your stuff tested to be able to be sold on Amazon. So yeah, I would imagine what you bought, it might have said peptide on the bottle, but it probably wasn't or chat says, yes, there is. Are there injectables on Amazon? You sure? Am I sure?
I would be really surprised if they had injectable peptides.
Maybe oral, but
because you have, I don't see, if there are, I doubt. I think that they've played tricks against Amazon, and they're not going to be there long, because Amazon's checkout, you're using Amazon's checkout, which means you're using their banks, and their banks are not going to allow injectable peptides. That just won't happen.
Yeah, you can buy topical peptides, and you can buy syringes. So
I'm going to put some of this lotion in my bloodstream.
Yeah, I'm not going to show that, but anyway,
yeah, there's one peptide that BPC 157 is. I keep seeing it all over the place, and apparently a lot of people have had tremendous results from using it for cartilage in shoulders and knees and repairing gut lining. I have no idea, I haven't looked into it enough to know what the side effects are, but there's definitely a lot of hype around it, and perhaps there are peptides that really could be beneficial. I'm not closed off to the idea.
Oh yeah, I've got a dude in my Telegram chat who's taken BPC 157, and he's like, dude, it changed my life. He said that he had these like shoulder injuries, I think, for years that just couldn't heal, and he started doing the BPC 157 and helped him greatly, which is why I'm not anti-peptide. I'm just, like last resort, certain situations, don't take it forever. Be responsible with it, right? And the issue is people are just going straight to it like it's a fix-all.
Yeah.
Peptide capsules seems pointless to me, because your stomach acid would break down the peptide. So that's why people are injecting them. You can buy peptides on Amazon and inject them, but you have to get the syringes and peptides separately, I guess. Maybe that's the trick. I don't know. So we've got a BPC. Edgar, maybe it was you in my Telegram chat telling me about BPC. For a few weeks. Got a couple people taking them. That's cool, man. Have you met anybody that's taken Ozempic?
Yeah. Yes, I have. So one person that I knew that tried Ozempic, she's had autoimmune issues forever. Very awake and aware as far as, you know, what she puts in her body and how she treats it. And she was using it for a little bit, and she said she was doing like a micro dose. And for the first month, she said, like, I've had clarity of mind, like it reduces inflammation unlike anything that I've ever experienced. And then after about a month and a half, she started having all kinds of weird issues. So she stopped using it, and it took about 2 months before things kind of normalized again.
Interesting.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anybody that's taken a Ozempic. Yeah, so I can't say, but I've seen, you know, I've read the stories, seen the testimonies online of people with issues. You have like a few success cases, but just from what I see, of course, we all live in echo chambers, but from what I see, it's more non-success. Like over time, it takes time, right? Like you said, they lose weight, their appetite gets suppressed, so they stop eating so damn much, and they feel good for a little bit amount of time, and then more time goes by, and their metabolism gets destroyed, and other things start going wrong, organ issues. So, but anyway. Yeah. I mean, back at working at the supplement shop years ago, before peptides were ever a thing, so many people came in with lap band surgeries.
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, yeah, do you have any just liquid protein? And it has to be no flavorings, and I need this type of protein, few calories, or all I can eat is liquids. And they would like screw themselves up with their lab band surgeries over time.
Yeah.
So they just couldn't exercise and work out a little bit, I guess. I don't know why they went straight to lap band.
You know, part of it is definitely on them. I would also say, though, that we've grown up in a culture that's been steeped in absolute wrong think, like almost the exact opposite. This is how you lose weight. You drink Diet Coke, and you stay away from fats, and you eat lots of grains, and you'll lose weight. That's not it. Like, so we've been steeped in that culture, and you know, so these people, like, maybe they tried that. It's like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then, you know, 2 years later, they're in a worse shape than they were before. And I think people eventually just give up hope in that situation. And I can't say that I blame them.
Edgar makes a point that concerns me. Retatrutide is a popular peptide in my local gym.
Dude, I heard about that today. Somebody was talking about that.
Well, if we get gyms into the peptide business, that could be a real bad thing. Because the FDA, you know, in the bodybuilding fitness space, you've got, of course, the steroids, which are illegal, but maybe some are gray area. So you've got bodybuilders, when they want to do legit injectable steroids, they got to go alternative places to get their tren or get their D-ball or whatever. Then you have pro-hormones, sometimes called designer steroids, that are in capsules. And these aren't technically illegal, but kind of. It's like a gray area. And the pro-hormones, because it's a capsule, it's safer than the injectables, but it's still an anabolic steroid. So you can still mess yourself up. And they're kind of legal, but kind of not. I don't know how regulated, if at all, peptides are. So if it's the Wild West right now and you got a bunch of gyms who want to make some bank and they get a source, they get a bunch of peptides in and start selling them at their front desk, then it could be a problem. I'm kind of talking about SARMs, but not. I would throw SARMs into the pro-hormone category in that I was working at the supplement shops before SARMs were a thing, but pro-hormones were big. And I dabbled in pro-hormones for a little bit, weaker ones, but this is before SARMs. Now SARMs are a big thing in the bodybuilding space. SARM stands for selective androgen receptor modulator. It's basically a breast cancer drug that some bodybuilders figured out, oh, this actually helps my hormones and I can gain more muscle on these. So a bunch of bodybuilders started taking breast cancer drugs to get jacked. And kind of the same thing with SARMs as with peptides. I've seen a couple people who loved them and felt great and had success, but I've also seen some bad things happen with bodybuilders on SARMs. So, yeah, your body makes peptides, sure, but your body makes testosterone too. If you inject more testosterone in your body, things can get weird, right?
Yeah.
So just because your body makes something doesn't mean injecting more of it into your body is a good thing. Anyway. And also, are you injecting into your body exactly what your body's making? Maybe not. So
Yeah, there are a lot of factors.
So many factors. So
source. That's why it just needs to be regulated. It needs to be clean. If people want to mess with themselves, as long as they know what the side effects are, go for it.
Hey, I'm a libertarian at heart. I think all this shit should be legal.
Yeah.
People should be able to do what they want, but informed consent and maybe not right now because, as Osho once said, the people are retarded. But don't we have that? I thought we had that little clip in our Badlands thing here. I don't think we do, but yeah, I'm kind of like a libertarian. Let people do what they want at heart, but at the same time, people are generally not very aware of what they're doing. So I just think responsibility is key. So I'd rather. What did Spetzel say here? All right, guys, we're almost done. We're going to finish up here in a moment. What did Spetz say? I'd rather genetically biohack myself than take a lot of the stuff people take. I don't blame you. I like to self-experiment.
Yeah. Sometimes that can get you into trouble.
Oh, for sure. Cool. All right, guys. I think we're about done here. Nate Dogg, do you have a promo code or can you even accept payments since you got debanked? What's going on?
Yeah, we are still accepting payments. Thank goodness. No, we're having a Valentine's Day sale. So buy one can of anything, get 33% off whatever you buy next. No codes needed. Just get it at checkout.
33% off the second. Illuminati confirmed. Very nice.
That's right.
And what's the website?
Flowblend.com. I'll drop it in chat.
Cool. Flowblend.com. And then go check out ConsciousStrength.net. Code Badlands for 10% off. Code Badlands. Where's that shop all page? And I've got the DMSO on there. This is, I saw somebody in the chat say, make sure you use pharmaceutical grade. This is USP grade, 100% DMSO. But this is what I was using.
In glass.
In glass. It's been helping me with my ribs. I've been smashing the collagen and smashing the curcumin too. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Cool.
Hey, if Jordan, out of curiosity, if somebody was trying to eliminate, like just deal with like low back pain consistently, they've been taking ibuprofen for years. I assume curcumin is a good option. How many milligrams should a person go after?
Well, it depends on the product. You know, are you taking raw herb? Are you taking an extract? Are you taking yada yada? But the serving size on mine is 2 capsules.
Okay.
And but as for, yeah, I mean, there's a million different factors that go into like a joint pain, low back pain, or something to that effect. I think what is highly underutilized is simple exercise, but not general exercise. I'm talking in targeted specific movements for that joint. Maybe even with the help of a physical therapist or a knowledgeable personal trainer to do tests to see where your imbalances and where your biomechanical issues are. But motion is lotion, and when a lot of people hurt, they just don't do anything. Which, if the injury is very bad, then you want to immobilize a joint for a while until you can start getting some pressure and movement into that joint. But then once you can, do some mobility exercises to get your nervous system comfortable with using that joint and the muscles around it again. So the first thing is exercise, and then diet. So I've been eating a lot of sardines. I've been drinking bone broth, whatever I can find that has collagen and minerals, good proteins in it, good fats. So get diet right to heal or deal with chronic injury or pain anywhere, deal with the inflammation. And then I'm also a big fan of Epsom salt baths. I think ice therapy, cold therapy is overrated. I think there's a time and place for cold plunges, but I think in large part cold plunges are overrated. I'm more of a fan of heat. So Epsom salt, especially Epsom salt baths. And then, yeah, you can do your curcumin supplements or boswellia, arnica, a variety of things. Glucosamine, chondroitin, all of them are different, do different things, but they can all help in some way. So chiropractic too. Yeah, chiropractic too. But chiropractic is, the thing about chiropractic care is that it's kind of a Band-Aid effect. It's a good Band-Aid, don't get me wrong. I'm a huge fan of chiropractic care. I used to work for a chiropractor 10 years ago, but it is a Band-Aid effect. I mean, you have to reset the structural foundation with your body, which is muscular imbalances, which chiropractic care doesn't help with. So you said don't tell Alpha that. I shouldn't tell J-Triot that. He's gonna kick my ass next time I see him. He's gonna adjust me and then break my neck. But no, I think chiropractic care, it's absolutely helpful. It's a good tool in the toolbox. It helps to reset a joint for a little while. But if you don't deal with the muscular imbalances, then that joint's just going to get pulled back into the bad habits. You got to work on the movement patterns, movement habits.
There was also a type of it's a type of massage called Rolfing, and have you heard about that before?
Yeah. But even with massage, massage doesn't strengthen. Yeah, I've heard of Rolfing, but massage will help alleviate, say, one side of an imbalanced joint. It'll help alleviate the tight or tonic side. But with massage therapy or cupping even, or Rolfing, it'll help the tonic side, but it won't strengthen anything. So you actually have to move. You actually have to do exercises to strengthen the weak or phasic muscles. And then you can do massage therapy or stretching or what have you to lengthen the tight tonic muscles. So there's a balance there.
So what you're saying is there's no easy way out of it. You can't just hand people.
I'm saying you got to move your ass. You got to move your ass, but you have to know what you're doing. So many people go into the gym and they're just like, yeah, I'm going to do the exercises I see on the poster on the wall or whatever I see in the popular YouTube videos. And they're like doing exercises to try to fix themselves, but they're exercising muscles that are already too tight, probably worsening their issue, worsening their imbalances, or they are stretching muscles that are too stretched. So it's you got to figure out what are your joint issues and what's the targeted approach to them. Like a lot of people have flat feet, right? And there's certain patterns of imbalance that happen around the hips to cause flat duck feet when people walk like this, which is if you're walking with duck feet, that's a huge sign that you're on your way to knee injury or hip injury. So duck feet's a bad thing. Because I was a soccer player for so long and probably have my feet in real tight cleats and all that jazz, my arches are the opposite. I have pretty high arches. So I've got to focus on sort of other movements with my legs and ankles to get my form right and get my posture right. So everybody's different. And that's why you can't just all go and do the same exercises and expect the same result, because everybody's different. We have different imbalances around each of our joints and all that. There's certain generalities. Most people have like a rounded shoulder or a forward head issue just because we all sit all the time and drive and all that. But with deeper things, arches of your feet or your toes, maybe the imbalances around your hips, we could be a little different. So, but yeah, I mean, exercise and workout programming can get very complicated. So,
yeah.
Appreciate you letting me rant on that for a moment.
Deep dive.
If anybody wants help, feel free to email me or DM me. I have to check my emails. I haven't done that in a little while. I've probably got some people mad at me. So email me today. They will be checked. All right, guys. Nate, you probably got to go deal with the mean banker people. So, all right,
it's been
guys.
fun though. Chat, you guys were awesome. I hope you all have an excellent weekend. Do something great. Make some memories. Come back and tell us about them next Friday.
Yeah, we'll be here next Wednesday. We will do a MAHA Living on Wednesday, pre-recorded, of course, and then we'll see you here live on Friday. Yeah, I mean, I would love to get into a chiropractor. Anytime I see J-Tree at a GART, I have him adjust me. So I'm definitely pro chiropractor, but there's still more work to be done to deal with joint pain than just a chiropractor. You do have to move some stuff. And yeah, don't tell J-Tree. Awesome. Specific processes, opinions, processes on MMS, DMSO. Hey, send us some questions. Spets, like DM us. We can do a MAHA Living episode on MMS and DMSO. So if you have any specifics, let us know. We'll do a show on it.
Spetzel has been DMing me. I am terrible about checking my DMs. I'm sorry, Spetzel. I will look at those.
Hey, it's Spets though, so you shouldn't check his messages anyway.
Cool.
All right, guys, just going through some more of these comments before we head out. All right, Nate's got to go. See you guys. Thank you for being here.
Adios.
Like, subscribe. We'll see you guys. You'll see us on Wednesday. We'll see you on Friday. Wednesday and Friday next week. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. And a special thank you to all of our advertising partners. Please remember to shift your dollars to support those businesses that support Badlands Media.